This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm a bit angry still after reading this story yesterday and was figuring out how I wanted to talk about it because the details of what has been going on with this African parks is really atrocious. And the fact that Harry knew about this since last May and did nothing is infuriating. The anger that I have is knowing that Harry and Meghan had all the resources to bring light to this and seek justice for these people, but instead they remained silent. And what is the quote that Harry likes to use? Silence is complicity. So, yeah, I blame Harry and Meghan for the suffering of these people because they knew about it and chose to look the other way. You have two horrible human beings, in fact, the scum of the earth, representing causes that on the surface is supposed to make them look like they are some saints and saviors. But when you look past the superficial word salad and photo ops, you realize that the involvement of people like Meghan and Harry and all these other globalists are really not making these situations better. They are not helping with equality and bridging any type of gap. In fact, they're being more destructive than anything else. We know that both Harry and Meghan are frauds because if they really cared and had compassion, they had every resource to be able to call someone who had power to make a difference. Like, for instance, Paul Kagame. This is Meghan's so called mentor prior to her marrying into the family. Remember, she spoke so glowingly about Paul Kagame and how he was a champion for girls' and women's rights. It should anger people that Harry knew about this since last May and allowed this to continue and go on without saying a word. Most likely, Meghan knew about it too. Meghan wants people to sing her praises because she's 43% Nigerian and donated $10 in period pads, but she can't speak up and defend and help these women that are getting abused. Do you see why this is infuriating? Do you see why it's angering that people continue to give these two a platform when they don't deserve having one? Everything that these two have been engaged in and been a part of is tied to some type of criminal behavior, whether it be directly or separated by 1 degree. You look at human rights abuse, this new situation in the Congo. Of course, Archwell, definite tax evasion and fraud. White supremacy, these two are the two racist people on the planet. Cybercrime, we know about the hacking with Samantha. Domestic terrorism with the Sussex Squad. Child exploitation, look at Uvalde, look at AHA Charity, the mental health, We Charity. The only thing that they contribute to this planet are being parasites and predators. They kill the environment. They spread disinformation, not misinformation, but disinformation, because the lies that they spread are done with malicious intent. Misinformation is getting something wrong and acknowledging it because you did it by accident. Disinformation is what these guys promote. We know that Harry does drugs, especially Coca-Cola. We know now that there has been some interference with our election. They've been trying to censor Americans. They're aligned with people that have been weaponizing our government against the people. We know that if they do have these so called invisible children, they neglect them because they're never with them as they're always traveling. They abuse people at work. They abuse elders. They abuse animals. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and it's probably just a matter of time before we find out that they're connected somehow to the black market organ trade or human trafficking that's going on right now. I'm really glad to see, though, that the UK Charity Commission has done its checks and balances with One Young World. This is the organization that Meghan is so close to. No doubt that she was paid handsomely for that 7-minute speech all about herself, but they've officially given a warning to this charity about misappropriating funds, which, something Meghan and Harry know about. I'm really glad someone took action on this because a year ago, this was something that I called out in this video, in which I showed everyone the finances, saying that they were not taking the money and applying it to helping these kids. In fact, they were pocketing it for themselves. And sure enough, here we have the commission saying that, yeah, funds have been misappropriated and they got their hands slapped. In my opinion, I think a similar investigation needs to go into Travelus and the missing funds from the Royal Foundation, as well as Invictus and Centabali. Anything that these two have touched, I think, should be investigated thoroughly. Here in the United States, highly doubt that Archwell is going to even be touched because they seem to be protected all the way around, which is quite disgusting, and hence the reason why we need an administration change. But getting back to this story, don't expect Meghan and Harry to go out of their way to fix this situation. They've already started pushing out these puff pieces, trying to suppress the search engines to make sure that trending on top is Harry and Meghan's security scare of some bullshit story in Montecito of houses being robbed. I mean, nothing to do with them, but they made it about them in order to cover up. Don't expect them to take any kind of significant action unless it's beneficial to them. So, rumor is going around that maybe Harry might take this story and run with it for some project for Netflix, which I think would be so gross and disgusting if they end up exploiting this situation, which, to be honest, I could see them doing because they've done it before. They have taken tragedy and turned it into profit. And no doubt in my mind, this could be a moment for Meghan to play the I'm such a caring feminist to help resuscitate Meghan's brand. I'm willing to bet that there is more coming our way. We're only in January, and we have seen what a train wreck it has started off for the Harkles so far. So this situation is now getting uglier by the minute. Yesterday, African Parks, after this exposure, issues a statement saying that they were aware of this abuse going on last year because a board member, most likely trying to salvage and save Prince Harry, who received a letter from Survival International. It doesn't say here, though, who the board member was, but they said that they immediately launched and took action, and they are now putting the blame now back onto Survival International, who are the ones who raised this to their attention, stating that they were not being cooperative and providing the details that they need. So now the blame game is going back and forth because, God forbid, they get thrown under the bus for not doing anything, hence the reason why this had to be exposed. So today, Survival International was not having any of what was being said in this statement that was released by posting stating Survival first spoke to African parks about their park rangers violently abusing Baka indigenous people around this national park more than 10 years ago. And it is likely they've known about it for even longer. They're not doing nothing for lack of information. Followed by this demand by saying, after today's shocking revelations, we're calling on Prince Harry to step down from the board of African parks with immediate effect and for its funders to withdraw their support. African Parks has known about these abuses for years. Good on Survival International for standing up here. Let's take a look at the funders and see who is backing this organization to see if we could put some type of pressure in writing letters to them. Okay, so let's take a look at this funding. So apparently these strategic partners give a lot of money. So we have the Acacia Conservation Fund. I'm not familiar. The Government of Benin, Bill Pope, the Danum Foundation, the Deutsche, I'm not familiar with that. DOB Ecology, Donna and Marvin Schwartz. Don't know who that is either. Dutch Postcode Lottery, the Elephant Crisis Fund. Okay, that I don't know. The European Union. Well, if you're in the EU, write to your representatives. The Head and Heart Foundation, Howard G. Buffett Foundation, Legacy Landscapes Fund, the Lion Recovery Fund. None of these seem familiar. Oppenheimer Generations Foundation, that I think we can work with. The Patriot Foundation, I don't know any of these. People's Postcode Lottery. Rob Walton Foundation, I believe that's Walmart. That's one we can get behind from an American standpoint. US Aid, that's America. Yeah, we need to defund that ASAP because that's American taxpayer dollars. And the US Department of State, yeah, I'd like to know how much money is going there because that too should be stopped if this is going to continue. The Wildcat Foundation, Worldwide Fund for Nature, like where's Jane Goodall on all of this? UBS, the Vice Foundation, that's a billionaire who pumps in money into supporting, he's a dark money funder, by the way, and the Rainforest Trust. So we got a lot of shady organizations I see going on here. So yeah, I think we need to make some noise on this. Harry needs to step down ASAP. He knew about this. They're now trying to put the blame on Survival International. Oh no, not going to happen this time. Harry needs to face the consequences for his actions because people are getting hurt. Perhaps maybe we should send a letter to Bernie Sanders. He's very much into protecting human rights. He doesn't like this kind of stuff at all. Now, I'm going to end this video by just asking a simple question. Something that I've noticed over the last several weeks with some of the commentators, like Lady C, Neil Sean, they said it a few times, and it just kind of made me think that, that's kind of strange. Have you noticed that when they're talking about the children, they say his children, meaning Harry's children? They never say Meghan and Harry's children, but they say Harry's children or his children. Anybody know why is that? Could that be the bombshell that is supposed to drop in spring? I don't know. Or do you think the bombshells were about these charities now coming to light? Just putting that out there. But what do you guys think? As always, I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave your comments below. If you want to check out the One World video, I'll also link that below. But as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
You're such a fraud.